specifically, you need to keep him engaged in the activity and control the activity from start to finish. If you let him get off on a tangent, it's tough to regain his full.
Work on relating activities and object manipulation, positive response.
The guy that this is written about is actually Anthony, who Sage in our group has, who's able to help us out with like a little bit of stuff. But the guy who did this project did a task progression on underhand volleyball serve. Jordan already talked a little bit about it, trying to get him to do stuff. We all thought that this was a really, we're not sure what the grade was, but we all thought that this was a really good representation of task progression because it identifies with a lot of the exemplary kind of things that are required on here on this rubric. He has a lot of different activities for Anthony to do in order to be able to work on this underhand serve, and it's not just like, not all of it is like, oh, let's hit a ball underhand. He has some good like starter things. So Anthony has some issues with his being able to fully extend his right arm because he has cerebral palsy. And so because of that, this guy was getting him to work on being able to do arm extensions on both sides of his hand. And one of the things that he said was a key point he wanted to get Anthony to work on was balance. So doing things with both hands equally, because he figured that that would help Anthony to work more on being able to extend his right hand and use it more. So he would have him do little band stretches like that at first, and then he did something. He said he could have him do like air guitar to have him work on like extending his arm. Don't really understand how bad extending his arm, but he said it would help him maintain focus and stuff. And it progresses really well too, in that as he completes one task, it kind of progresses in a very well manner that is step by step, but it doesn't take leaps and bounds or do super small steps. It just wouldn't make very much progression. But
He was CP and also has Ivy. As you know, he has his back brace and he has ankle braces for his ankles turn outward. His mentor Dean, he worked on, his main focus was flexibility, range of motion, and strength, kind of focusing around his mom's goals, which were to help. She wanted Christian to be able to help with transfers from bed to wheelchair, so she wasn't just moving like, just dead weight. She wanted him to actually have some strength behind that movement, and he really focused that his adaptation was really focused on TMR, which is total motion release, which is just proper body alignment. So what he had Christian do was like lie down on the mat and make sure his whole body was in line, and of course with like multiple people just stretching out his hips, his ankles, but still keeping a proper alignment form. Some stuff that we came up for like additional exercises that we think that would help him adapt and thus get to the goal would just be like, kind of like a bicycle, like your standard core exercise for a bicycle, and go through that range of motion, but also provide like a little bit of resistance. So he's getting that range of motion, and he's also getting a little strength behind it. So we think that would really help his goal to build up his strength while also maintaining that range of motion.
Ours was about Terry. To start off with, her mentor had a very good synopsis of her background, literally everything about her age, her demographics, things that she likes and dislikes. Then they went on to talk about her support system as far as like her family, who she lives with, what kind of resources she has available. Then they started to talk about nutrition and Terry's strengths and weaknesses as far as nutrition goes. Her mentor said that she's very good about choosing healthier foods, especially when it comes to eating out. She doesn't like to eat out a lot, and she doesn't eat a lot of sugary snacks, but she's even really good at talking to her friends about improving their nutrition. So that was one of her big strengths. Although her nutrition is good, they still want to improve her snacking quality. They went on to talk about her physical activity, kind of where she stands at this point, strengths and weaknesses, of course. One of her strengths was her posture and balance. She has a very athletic type of body, and she doesn't really struggle with many activities. However, she doesn't have use of her left hand really, and so she would make excuses at times for reasons why she can't use it, rather than just putting forth the effort to try and improve it. So that was what her physical activity plan was going to focus on, was improving her strength in her left arm. The specific skill they wanted to work on was the tennis serve, because they noted that in her initial assessments that was something that was really weak. So with the task progression of the tennis serve, they wanted to start off seated with no distance, using weights like 2 to 3 pounds. They're going to gradually increase the weights throughout the progression, just to have her do like some bicep curls and then some tricep extensions, or working the deltoids and the forearm muscles. And then that was going to gradually increase with the weights, and she was going to get up from the seated position and do some more active motion.